Hey, welcome to the Road to Black podcast, episode 39. My name is Paul Manganaro. I'm here with my co-host, Wesley Reed. Wes, what's up, my brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. I was working today, and I got a surprise visitor. Came through the shop. I hear the front door open, and Wes pops in. So
dressed in a gi
yep,
pants.
Just in a gi. Dropped in this morning, flew in and got a training session in already, I see. So
yeah.
How'd your trip go?
It was good. It was kind of a flash, or it at least
happened in a flash.
Yeah, happened in a flash. Early morning, get to Denver, just like a whole day, of get off a flight, pick up a car, drop my bags, train. So
Yep.
It's just nonstop. So after we get off here, I'm gonna put my gi in the wash and kind of reset a little bit.
Nice.
So it's been kind of a blur, but it's fun. It's nice. It's nice to be back here in Arizona.
Yeah,
man, miss it, love it.
Yeah, already.
So yeah,
just coming in, being here just one morning, you miss it already, huh?
Yeah.
Well, someday, maybe you'll be back.
Yep. It's good. It's good to visit. Got some rounds in with one of our somebody who's been on the podcast, Nick Flores. So he got to train with him today. So we got some good rounds in, and
nice.
It's good to see some old faces. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Awesome.
So
we'll
got a
get
whole
some
week.
more in.
Yeah.
Get some more in this week.
Did you teach today?
I did. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Didn't roll much today at all, actually. Just drilled with a couple guys. I got a little bit of I don't know, over the weekend I got kind of like a flare-up of plantar fasciitis on the bottom of my foot. So I don't even know where that came from, to be honest. It wasn't like didn't do anything where I was exerting myself or hard training. It was just Friday. I didn't even train Friday. Friday night, it just flared up. That was weird. Saturday was hurting bad. I could barely walk. So it's feeling better today, but I just took it easy today. It's always something,
It is always something.
The life of a jiu-jitsu athlete, to be honest, and an older one at that. So always managing the injuries, but we'll get back at it. I've been following the whole DDS thing all weekend, and today especially, yesterday and today, all the announcements and stuff. So it's hard to tell what's going on. Donna, her death squad, they're breaking up, man. They're breaking up.
I didn't even see it. I don't even know when it was initially announced, because I was kind of off the grid all weekend. Just had a lot going on, and then I saw something about it, and I was like, I thought it was just a joke, and then I went to that actual post, and it was like, oh no, they're actually,
yeah,
they're done. So
we'll see, unless they're trolling us. I don't know. It's possible.
It's totally possible with that kind of crew.
Good troll.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you had Donna, her basically wrote this long post what were the reasons he gave for the split up? So they're training in New York at Henzo for years. That's where they basically developed the team and the camaraderie. And then during COVID, they moved down to Puerto Rico, which was
quite strange.
I mean, only strange. I only thought it was strange just because it's like immediately I was like, well, how are you going to keep the team together? How are you going to move that many people down there and establish everyone's lives down there? That's tough, right? I mean,
yeah.
Especially because you have Gordon. Gordon, he's the guy on that team. He's the best. The greatest no-gi grappler. He's the guy with the name. He's the guy making all the money. Those other guys they're not pulling in what that guy's doing. So,
Yeah.
To ask people to pick up their lives and have to establish themselves, that was going to be difficult, number one. Even if you could keep that core, what is it, about 5 or 6 guys together that went down there, basically. I think they know too. And I think that was part of what they're saying in their posts on why they're moving back to the States, is that it's just, I think Gordon said that in his post today. He's just not going to have the training partners down there, which makes sense, but, and there's just more opportunity to make money here in the States. He can, in Texas, he's going to kill it. He's such a big population in Texas. I mean, he could just stay in Texas and move around and do seminars and camps, and he's going to open a gym, allegedly. But Donna, he posted in one of his eloquent posts yesterday, basically, he gave several reasons, which is why the, all the speculation kind of arose, because it's like, what did he include? He included like strife within the team.
Yeah,
people not wanting to move, people not being able to decide where they want to go train, which makes sense. How are you going to get 6 guys to, or however many there are, to just go to one, hey, let's all go move to Austin or whatever, which is, I guess, where they're going, according to Gordon. So Donna posted this long thing yesterday. That started off the speculation. Then Gordon followed it up, and then they all started sharing on Instagram, hey, it was a good run, sorry to see it break up. And, there's just comments, tons of people commenting and support and crying face. Oh, man, the greatest team ever. And it's interesting, because they are very successful. But I guess it's like any team, if you move your team location, in terms of, we could talk all day about that. If you're like, just imagine any gym having to just pick up and move. Well, all those students and all your people can't really just pick up and move. They have lives and livelihoods,
Yeah.
Unless they're the pro, they're in a unique situation that these guys are all pro grapplers, so they don't have other jobs. And most of them probably don't have ties to families. They're single guys, Nicky Rod, Craig, Nick. Nicky Ryan, Ethan, these dudes, they've just been hanging out in Port. They can do that, but the whole gym. If you're an established regular gym, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
You just have to you'd have to reestablish yourself, is what they'll have to do, and they'll be fine. But the speculation is like, who's leaving, who's going with them, and so it's been fun, kind of in terms of jiu-jitsu drama. It's been fun to follow.
Well, just a few minutes ago, it was like a post from Gordon. It had Nicky Rod, Nicky Ryan, who was it? Craig, and who was the fourth? Ethan. Yep.
That was Craig's post.
Oh, was that Craig? Okay.
Yeah.
And it showed all 4 of them.
Oh no,
going,
Gordon did too. Oh no, it was Craig. Yeah. And he said the B team's sticking together.
They're all going.
Is that the
together.
post you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So it was Craig. Craig said, "Happy to announce the B team is going to stick together and keep training. The goal remains the same." So that, to me, like, is that a troll? Like, is he? Because he also tagged it, and he's in Austin. So that doesn't tell us much. Does that mean those 4 guys are staying with Gordon?
That's kind of what I took out of it.
Then who's the other? I don't even know. There's not. Who else is there? To me, that is the DDS, except for Gary. But Gary's not in. Is Gary in Puerto Rico? I don't know if Gary's ever been.
I think he is. I think he's
still. I think he has been training there, but no, I think he's been training there. But I think Gary's more. Gary has a gym. He has a gym back in Jersey, doesn't he?
I think he closed it down.
Did he close it?
I think he closed it right in the beginning of COVID.
So, if Gary leaves, that doesn't mean the DDS is breaking up. So that doesn't make much sense to me. But maybe there's other people that they have other guys that train with them. But if you're keeping Nicky Rod, Nicky Ryan, Gordon, and Ethan, and Craig, that's, in terms of grappling, that's the DDS, because Gary's focusing a lot on MMA anyway.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if they would go through all this if it was just Gary. So I think Craig might be. Craig trolls a lot. He trolls a lot. So I don't trust his post at all, because he would be the type that comes right out after those other guys and just says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna confuse people."
Yeah, he would.
So
yeah,
but, I also don't see Nikki leaving John. So no. I mean, it's hard. Nikki Ryan leaving Gordon and John. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Craig's always going around. He's all over the place anyway. He moves around a lot and trains with different people,
and he is kind of a big personality as far as
he's a big personality. He's but I know John. Him and John get along though really well. According to John has a lot of respect for him. And flow grappling is in Texas, like it's based in Austin, I think, and they're having all these flow grappling events there. So. I don't know, man. I think they're all going to move there. I don't know if this is all just it's weird. I don't know. Maybe there's there might be other players involved that we just don't see that maybe aren't down to move there or whatever. But those are the main names, the people that have been in these posts. So.
And they've been hinting at this Austin thing for a while. So, it's not like this is new news. It's just that this is who's going, really. Yeah. And
well, we'll find out soon. He's going to open a gym. I mean, if they're going to open a gym, that Austin's going to blow. Austin is blowing up, man. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing.
I don't think Sanji's school's still open. I don't think it's open yet.
Oh, really?
Sanji moved his headquarters out there.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of grappling there, and there's a lot going on in Austin. But there's also a lot of homelessness, and I heard with all these people coming from Cali and stuff, the city is just kind of being overrun. Yeah. Like, pretty bad. Me. I heard a couple guys on Rogan's podcast talk about it, a couple comedians that were in town to do some shows, and they're just like, one of them was giving Rogan's like, "Oh, it's not a big deal," and the guy's like, "Yeah, you have a driver and a bodyguard when you go down to downtown to go to these clubs." He goes, we're traveling down in here and we have to deal with pretty sketchy situation. I guess there's a lot of homeless people downtown. So, but it's that type of thing can happen when you have a smaller town. I mean, it's not a smaller town. Austin's been around forever, but it is a unique city, but there's been a tremendous amount of people moving there.
Yeah, a lot of growth.
Like real estate's blowing up, tech companies are moving down there, entertainment, grappling, Flow's putting on all these events now there. Those things they look amazing. The WNO stuff, that 155 tournament. Did you see that list of athletes?
I haven't seen the list. Is it pretty? Is Mikey on it again? Dude.
Yeah.
Please don't.
It's the most incredible group of guys I've seen. I'm blown away by it. They just every day they would announce another athlete, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like the best 155ers in the world. So it's Mikey, Cade Rutolo, Gio, Diego Oliveira, Cole. That Cole Abate, or how do you say his name? That kid's a phenom. Yeah. He quadruple golds every single tournament he does. Everyone's just like, he's a black belt. Why is he still a blue belt? I think it's because he's probably only 16. He's so damn good. I don't even know how old the kid is. He's got to be. I don't know. I mean, at what point can he get his next belt? But Ethan from DDS is in there. Josh Cisneros from the Valley, who trains with
Queixinho.
Yep.
He's with Aries, but he's out at Roots a lot too.
Yeah, he trains he trains at both those gyms. And then Kennedy, Messial.
Yeah.
So, dude, it's stacked. I don't know how they're going to do that, if it's what type of tournament that is, but that's a lineup right there.
Is that a WNO or is that a road to ADCC?
It's called It's called the 155 WNO Championship. Wow. So they're having separate championships of weight classes. But I'm just saying the promotion's getting so big. Flow, a lot of people have more than ever have access to Flow. And now you're going to have it in Texas, which is going to be a huge draw because John Donahur's there now. Mm-hmm. They already have jiu-jitsu all over the place there, but now, with Gordon there, just look in the comments. There's a lot of there, and half of these people are probably not full of shit, but there's a lot of people in the comments like, I'm moving to Austin. Because think about it. If you're a young person, you want to do jiu-jitsu, and you have the freedom to move all over, you could literally, you could pick what gym you want, Do you want to go to the West Coast? Do you want to go to Florida, East Coast, wherever? But you can go there and establish yourself at get established with a new gym and train literally under Gordon and John. Their school is gonna be.
They're gonna kill it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole area is really gonna, and Flow, they love Gordon. They're just like this. So
I wanted to ask you. Our last episode we had a guest on, but the week before that, the weekend before we had our last guest, was the WNO Mikey versus Gio.
Yeah.
And that whole fiasco. Because
we didn't get to talk about that.
We didn't get to talk about it, but now also they're both 155.
They're in this one.
They're in this one.
Yeah. And they announced that like within the week. I think those were the first 2 or 3 guys they announced in this. So that was part of it. They announced right away, we're having the 155 championship. Mikey is at the top of the list. Then they announced Gio, so everyone's, of course, was like, oh, okay, here we go. We're going to see it again or whatever. But it's just some drama. It's because Mikey never has too much drama. So
yeah,
he came out with an apology after and, said the emotions got the best of him, which is true, which is true in the moment. And I get where he was coming from, He's just not that type of guy. But there's people out there like that thrive off of the shit talk and intimidation. And I thought it was great. I'm a huge Mikey. More than ever, I'm a huge Mikey fan. He's just so damn good. It's like, and he's kind of so wholesome that, his whole persona is just wholesome, and it's good to see him get fired up a little bit, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I lean more towards the having respect and that type of the martial way. I've never been a high level competitor, so I understand you have to, there's a lot of head games that go on, and people have their different styles and talking shit during competitions, and it is what it is. But in the end, some of the things he said was Gio said was personal and just rude, and to me, I agree with Mikey. There's no reason for that. Like, to me, you don't start personally attacking someone, and it's a sign of insecurity himself, and that's, I don't know exactly what was said, but I have a friend in Mikey's corner, and he said that it was warranted. There was just a lot of just BS behind the scenes, just uncalled for, weird, almost like weird, like, because Mikey doesn't do anything to bring that on. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
so
the
so
part.
That's when it becomes odd.
Yeah, and everybody universally just loves Mikey. He's just he's never a problem. He doesn't talk trash. He's always super respectful. Everybody just universally loves that guy. And then Gio goes out and talks shit about him, speaking Portuguese and all this other stuff and whatever, all that. I mean,
that's bull.
It is.
It's like, why would you criticize someone for that? It's so stupid. It's just so stupid. The kid is, obviously, he's just a jiu-jitsu genius, nerd, total into it, he's learning Portuguese. I would love to learn Portuguese. I've thought about it many times, but I just don't have the time and the energy to do that, because half the time I don't know what half these guys are saying, you know, whether it's Instagram or whatever. My friends, I'm like, I wish I understood these guys, but more power to them, you know. Who would criticize someone for becoming smarter like that? That's so dumb. It's just something a dumb person would do, you know. I've never been a fan of him. I don't know him, but I've never been a fan of Gio. I just think, honestly, to me, the grappling world caught up to that style of play.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's not dominant like he used to be in the early EBI days. He got worked in that, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Mikey didn't. It was what it was, but yeah, Gio was attacking some stuff, but Mikey just never seemed like he was in danger whatsoever.
He was never.
Level.
I mean, 10, 15, 20 seconds into the match, and he was already in a deep armbar.
Yeah,
and
so
he didn't have any answers for Mikey. So
we'll see. We'll see if they meet again. You know, I just I know a guy that's in Mikey's corner. He's a training partner of him. He's a black belt under Mikey, and he told me that this guy, he's never seen anybody. And this guy's a hard worker himself, but he said no, he's never seen anything like when Mikey said on the air. He said on one of his interviews, he's like, I've been working for 6 months every day. My buddy's like, that's not a joke. This guy, all he does is train jiu-jitsu every day, like constantly. And he's just always striving to improve and get better. And that is scary. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why he's so damn good. I mean, he's only getting better. He's young. He's getting better. You know, I think we mentioned on the show before, he's pound for pound, him and Gordon, right? I mean,
I don't think anybody
in terms of
him.
dominance, you know, Mikey went up and did the heavyweight. You know, he had that little snafu where he's like, I can compete in against heavyweights and stuff, and he went against Orlando and lost.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah,
that was a mistake.
It was,
but that's a weight thing, you know. I mean, that's why there's weight classes. Let's not get crazy here, you know. However, again, in his own weight, in those weight categories that are close to his, man, that kid he's unbelievable. He's just so damn. It's just hard. You just have to be so dynamic to even come close to beating the guy. I mean, he's just so. Yeah. I mean, has his guard ever even been passed by somebody in his weight? I don't even know. His guard is crazy.
That I know of. Like I was losing my mind when Orlando passed his guard.
Yeah.
At Pans, but I mean that's a heavyweight passing his guard.
Exactly.
That's you know what I mean, and so.
Oh, I'm sure Mikey dominates a lot of heavyweights. Most that he trains with. That's why he did that. But, you know, he's also challenging himself. So he put himself out there.
Yeah,
he was dominating everybody else, and he said that. I'm going to go challenge myself. And it is what it is, you know. Orlando's no slouch. He knows, you know, he played the game right in that regard, and he smashed him. But, man, those guys... It was a good match, you know, Mikey and Gio. I mean, it's just interesting to see the dynamics of play at that level, you know, both of them. I'm not taking anything away from Gio. Super skilled, dude. I mean, these guys they're just amazing. So that tournament is going to be so crazy, dude. That'd be fun to go to. That would be a fun one to see.
Yeah. What's the date on that, do you know?
Let me see. I think it's in... Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think they're just going to have more and more of these as they...
With more weight class?
September, yeah, exactly. September 25th and 6th. Yep. Awesome. So, man.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah, professional jiu-jitsu is really...
It's coming up.
We're watching it grow in front of our eyes, you know, so it's fun, man. I'm gonna try to catch some of these bigger events when I don't even know if they're letting spectators into some of these yet. I know they weren't even just a few months ago, but they will be. Mm-hmm. Especially like when ADCC, when that thing pops off, that's going to be huge.
That's a bucket list thing for me, man.
Did they start doing tickets for that yet?
Not yet. September.
We should check into that.
I'm going. I'm 100% getting tickets.
Yeah, so
Without
those are gonna sell out quick.
Yeah,
I think more so than ever before, because this one's supposed to be huge. So that'll be fun. So a lot going on. The whole team dynamic thing is going to be interesting to see how that plays out with DDS but having a team around you, it is very important. I mean, it can't be easy, and it couldn't be easy to going to Puerto Rico and trying to bring the team along. And obviously I think right away they knew that it wasn't going to work out there, because they thought they were going to open a gym and stuff. But your prospects of having a very successful large gym in Puerto Rico, it's not America.
No,
it's just not. It's not the States. It's different. I mean, it's beautiful there. I mean, you're living a different lifestyle, but you're not going to get the everyday working man or working woman hobbyist that you need to pay for your gym.
Yeah,
because those are the people that pay the bills.
Yeah, and you got to think about access to services too, which is what Greg, talked about with his hand fracture, but the services at Puerto Rico, I mean, just a few years ago, that whole island got devastated by a hurricane. I mean,
really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah,
so it's
really bad.
It's not healthcare. It's not the place when you're doing what these guys do. Injuries are going to be an issue. Man, you can't skimp on healthcare and access to healthcare services. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So
a quality of life, that's part of it, right? I mean, just having other things to do. Don't get me wrong, it's probably nice living in paradise, but it's not for everyone. I mean, if you're a single dude there, you're one of these guys training. Yeah, you might be training jiu-jitsu all the time, but what are you going to do in your free time? I mean, you could get some kind of syndrome when you're there for too long. You know what I mean? You're not you don't have the amenities, the simple things we take for granted here in the States, especially a place like Austin. All the entertainment, the sports, everything you want there. All the ladies, I mean, it's. Not everybody's meant to be a hermit on a deserted island training jiu-jitsu all the time. So,
in Hawaii they call it rock fever. You see a lot of people move out there, and it always is like it's gonna be great. We're living in paradise, and it really is not for some people. That island gets really small really fast. You're gonna see all these people again. All these families know each other.
Yep.
My uncle knows everybody. Yep. That's right. And so it's great that you live on the beach and you can surf and do all this stuff. But that's it. And these everybody knows each other, and it's such a small, insulated community. I do think that with team stuff, especially when you have big personalities, lots of ego, people need to be able to get away from each other, just as like a reset. To not,
exactly.
You know what I mean? You have to be able to get away from people to kind of, in order to be better doing the stuff that you want to do. So, and I don't think that really exists too much there. I think that they're kind of.
It doesn't.
I don't know how big that island is, but I don't think it's very big.
No.
So, I think that I'm hypothesizing. I can totally see how heads would butt a lot after being around each other for that long, and then you add the training environment, competition pressure, everything else, all of that. Yeah. I can see things kind of getting out of hand and out of control, and it is. I guess it is what I don't exactly know why they're breaking up, but I have no clue. But
we don't know how much breakup there is, but a lot of it probably had to do with opportunity.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know, I think you could even sense that listening to Gordon talk. I think even when he was on Joe's podcast a couple months back, you know, he was talking. When he went there, I think he really liked Texas, and he's been to several Flo's events there. He did the commentary for that fight with Mikey and Gio. He was commentating on that event, and was really good, by the way.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to ask, did you like his commentary?
I did, yeah. I mean, he was kind of being impartial as much as he could, but it's hard for him to hold back sometimes with some of the like when Atos guys were going and stuff. But he's very smart. I mean, he's just so smart with jiu-jitsu. I mean, he can really see things happening before the normal eye can, you know, in terms of or what you should be doing in this position. He's always going to be a huge name in jiu-jitsu, you know. So that's going to be a hotbed, man. Texas. You have these hotbeds, and that's definitely one of them now. If they open a gym down there, they are going to kill it, dude. They had a seminar sell out in like very quickly with him and John recently.
Yeah, I think it was like a day.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that much.
I think it was a few hours. I mean, there's plenty of people in Texas, and you can travel pretty easily from big city to big city in Texas. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not too spaced out. You got some huge cities down there, so.
Yeah, I mean, San Antonio is like an hour away from Austin, so.
Yeah.
You know,
isn't Austin kind of in the middle of.
Yeah.
You know, you go the other way, it's Houston, a little bit farther, but Austin itself is growing enough to, you know, they're gonna do well there. So I'm curious to see what's really going on here, you know, and because
it's got to come out, right?
They're the team that's they're the ones that are always being highlighted in Flow, and so you know Flow is very much about sticking to the drama. They're like any other entertainment. They know.
Yeah.
And people criticize them for that, you know, and it's like, oh, you're playing up this Mikey Geo thing. Well, what do you think they're going to do? Mm-hmm. It's one of the only times most of us people are paying attention, you know? You know what I mean? I mean, to be honest, we see jiu-jitsu all the time in social media, but it's when those types of things, we're all kind of drawn to the drama. We just are, you know? That's why their Daisy Fresh show does well. You know, you get the reality stuff. People like that, you know? They like realness. I mean, that's across the board, whether it's jiu-jitsu or any other sports. Like Hard Knocks, that HBO, NFL, that's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen, dude.
Yeah,
I love football, but that show I really like because you get to see behind the scenes. And so we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be
interesting. We'll see how long it takes Gordon to get back to
he's going to be back to ADCCs, right? I mean, he has to.
He's got to be, yeah.
I saw that he's getting another doctor out in California to look at his stuff. So he said that person had a different opinion of what was going on. So he's gonna compete at ADCC. I bet you he competes whether his stomach is right or not.
He's got to, especially if Andre's gonna go. So,
oh man,
he's relentless on those guys.
You know, he was really nice. He was really nice to the Rotolos, like when they were competing and doing stuff. He gave them he was just saying the things. Well, you got to do this, you got to do this, but he didn't say anything bad about them. He didn't say anything bad about Hulk either, about Barbosa. And it was pretty objective. He just said that Hulk is really good at winning. He's not really good at finishing. It's basically what he said, you know. And he's, you know, he beat. A
lot of people agreed.
Well, he beat Tackett on that card like 34 to nothing in points, you know. And
that is Tackett is no joke.
Not at all.
He's been killing it this last year. So, but you know, he won the match. It's Gordon's never probably going to be. There's just a certain set of those guys that he's just never going to be down with. He just not. It's just guilty by association. You know, if you're in Andre's camp, you're not in mine. That's just how it is. You know, so they probably feel the same about him. So yeah, there's some good jiu-jitsu coming up. Man, what's that next big one in Brazil? Marigali and Pena. That's coming up. That is a match I want to see in the gi.
Yeah. That's
a big gi match. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Gi, a lot of no gi pro events.
Is that BJJ Stars?
I think it is one of those. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Those guys are both. I love watching both those guys compete in the gi. That's going to be big. You know, Fight to Win's back, putting on shows.
And then they're going to have Worlds this year. Adult Worlds. They announced it.
Yep, I saw that.
In December. First week of December, I believe. 9th through the 12th, maybe. So second week.
Yep.
I think. So
you have Master Worlds in November. And you have regular Worlds in December.
Pans, September.
Yep. A lot going on.
A lot going on.
They had a Fight to Win Phoenix this last weekend.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to pick that up.
Yeah, I watched some of that. Had some friends competing on the show. This first one I haven't gone to here. I've been to I think every one, which is, I don't know, eight of them they've had here or something crazy like that. This one was at a different venue, so I haven't talked to too many people about how the venue was, but I don't know, it was typical Fight to Win, you know. It's local here, so we know obviously a lot of Fight to Win competitors. If you don't know, they're basically a lot of local people from the city that is hosting the event. So, and you can put your name in the hat, and anyone can compete. You know, I mean, obviously you have to get chosen. You have to probably have some accolades and make them know that you're serious. But they had a lot of blue belts competing on this one. They always do. They have the lower belts and all the way up through black. And the main was Zhangji. I think he competed. I didn't even get to see the main event, but it was good. You know, friends of ours, Danny and Jake.
They were
Donna
commentating.
And Jake Watson commentated. Open Guard Cast commentating team. They did an amazing job.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I was blown away by those guys. They did an excellent job. So hats off to you guys. Check those guys out. They're doing some other big events. They are solid, dude. They are solid. Yeah. Like I'd just be watching. I kept forgetting that I even know these guys. Like they sounded very professional. Like legitimately, they're really good together too. I mean, they both play off each other well. I was super impressed, and they really did make the commentating. We haven't had the best in the past at Fight to Wins here. I mean, to the point where I've heard people complaining about it. I myself have been. It doesn't sound professional. These guys, it was legitimate. They are really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing them continue to do that.
I saw some
comments. You guys
comments.
want to check it out? Open Guard Podcast. Those guys do a podcast together. They also commentate. And there's a Fight to Win next weekend here too. So 2 back-to-back weekends here in the Valley. So you can watch that on Flow. You can hear those guys. Bunch more athletes lined up for next week. So one of our former guests, Josh Guerra, had a really good fight. He lost, but he'll be better for it. He knows that. Yeah. Tough loss. Went against a really super tough competitor. One of the better guys here in Arizona, Gracie Baja. So, great matches, man. They both fought really well. It was a good night. I like watching those. It's just constant jiu-jitsu. I mean, the thing about Fight to Win is there is no break. So and you know that if you've been there, your ass gets sore in the seats because it's like a 4 or 5 hour event, and if you're there to see the action. It's lined up.
They're going to give it to you. Yep.
Boom, boom, boom. They announce the winner, and then music's playing for the next person. It's really quick. So a lot of jiu-jitsu. It's a good opportunity to see local talent and people put themselves out there. It's a big stage. There's music playing. It's a little bit unique that way, but it makes it fun. It's the biggest party in grappling, is what Seth says. So Seth Daniels, who runs the promotion, look out for those guys doing good things. So
his he had an amateur. He's from Denver, and he had just an amateur tournament called Fight to Win as well. And I used to do his tournaments, and they always ran on time. They were very, very prompt.
Yeah.
And I always appreciated that, because it was like, when you're going to go on, you're going to compete at the time that he says that you're scheduled. That was what I always appreciated about it. And it's nice when that happens, Doesn't happen with every tournament. So
no, not at all. He's had a lot of experience putting on shows. It's just he's gotten so busy. That's hard to move. I mean, they're doing those things every week. Moving that whole crew and team around the country every week. That's a tough gig, dude. Yeah. You don't get no breaks. Team No Sleep. That's what they call themselves, and that is legit. Like those. Can you imagine? Imagine having a show, and you just ran this show over the weekend, and now you're right on the road, ready to go set it up for the next weekend. It's like constant. And there's a lot of promotion in between there, dealing with athletes, getting everything aligned, all the logistics. It's crazy. I think he just brought on another guy from one of the other promotions recently.
That's what I also heard.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that.
Was it Third Coast, I think? I don't want to misspeak there, but anyway. That's just a sign of people. It's growing, jiu-jitsu. It is. I mean, we're just going to see more and more of it. So it's exciting times to be a fan, to be honest, be involved in the community. I see, we had a couple younger guys from our gym going up there and putting themselves. It's cool to see, Blue Belt went out there and competed and won his match. So even the younger people, I mean, I know another young teenager that was competing on that card. So it's kind of a big event. It's a lot different than going and doing an IBJJF. Where you're in it. Yeah, I mean, everyone's watching you. That's the biggest thing, right? I mean, including everyone on TV. So, it's cool to see, man.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm pumped on jiu-jitsu right now. I'm really fired up about it. So I'm with you were mentioning the open guard cast, to come back to that, I saw a lot of people that were really happy that these guys knew the local grapplers and kind of could talk about them in depth. It wasn't again, I didn't listen to it, but it was not very superficial commentating. It was like they knew the grapplers.
Oh,
they
100%.
Knew their games, and they were dialed in. So
for sure.
And I think that's great when you can find that type of commentary is hard to find and reproduce anyway.
It is,
but man,
well,
that's
what makes the pros so good.
Yeah.
The professionals that do that for a living,
for sure. Yeah, when you
they
can
know
find
everybody.
That. Yep. And those, they, what's that? Anyway, I can't speak today, so.
Well,
cool.
like Rogan, and if you think of MMA, you think of all those guys. They study a lot. They know all the fighters, and that's why they're so good. Because you can always speak. You and I could go out there and speak to what's going on the mat. Yeah. But it's when you know the backgrounds, what these people have faced, what adversity they've faced before, what their specialties are, what their tendencies are. That is when it becomes. That is what draws people in. It's the knowledge, and it's like that with any profession, right? And that's what makes these guys, the two guys that did the local one here. That's what they have one up because, well, I think with Fight to Win, if I'm not mistaken, at least leading up to a certain point, most of the commentary came from the local. Seth would employ local people to do it, So number one, but the guys that did it before, we won't name any names. It wasn't the same. I'm just telling you, these guys sounded super professional right now. I know they've done some other events, Danny and Jake. They've been working together a lot. They have a podcast. They have good rapport. It was really cool because both of them knew different. They knew grapplers personally, because I personally know. I just know watching the fights and knowing Danny and Jake. I know both of those guys personally. I know they fought some of these guys, or have trained with them in the gym.
Yeah.
So when I'm listening to the commentary, I can hear Jake talking about how he's went against Jose Munoz anybody on the card that he might have trained with before or competed against. And it's like same thing with Danny. You know, I know Danny was been in the gym with some of the guys that were on the card. So you hear these guys talking about it, and they can really give that insight. But I'm not just going to say that just because they know him. These guys also study, because these guys also do other events, and I know they know this about the Open Guard cast has a lot of high-level grapplers on there. They focus a lot on competitors, and these guys know, they study and know their shit. So hats off to them. But I swear, man, they sounded really. I kept forgetting that it was these guys. I'm like, man, this team is really good. And you could look on the TV and you kind of, because they were in a lot of the shots, you can see the commentating team. They're kind of off camera there, and it was just cool to see those guys do it. And I know Jake personally. I know I've talked to Jake about this, and he's been really wanting to get the Fight to Win broadcast. He's been wanting to do that for a long time. So I'm really proud of those guys, and it's going to be good to hear them again. They're a young team, man. I mean, they're going to be legitimate. They are going to be a really great commentating team for a lot of big events. So, and I think they'll be the ones that will be able to travel and speak. It won't just be a local thing.
Yeah.
In fact, they've already done that. They've already done other events out of state. So,
yeah,
cool to see.
Yep.
It's a lot of work, man. That's next level. Diving into some details
sure.
in terms of. So
for sure. Well, good
got
stuff
the Phoenix
today, man.
Open coming up here.
Oh.
Yep, Phoenix Open coming up here. IBJJF tournament here in Arizona. I'm going to try to check that one out, but I think they might be restricting people. I don't know. IBJJF website says that there's no spectators on most of their events. I think says that. I don't know if they're really enforcing that, let's say. Because on their website it says if you're a competitor, you can come in and you can bring a coach or a companion or a family member or something, but we'll see. I might have to just go stand out there and find a competitor to tag along with so I can get in.
Well, you can probably get the coaching entrance.
You can get a coaching entrance, but you have to have a competitor with you. So it's like
there's nobody on Early Bird doing.
There's a couple people doing the Phoenix Open, but they're bringing people already, like a family member, or
Yeah.
So I don't know how it works. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. I've also heard a guy, a client of mine who trains jiu-jitsu, and he was at nationals, and he said they weren't really enforcing it in nationals. There was a lot of people in there, so maybe it's city to city. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm going to try to make it out to that one, do some coaching out there, and I do have some friends and teammates that are competing. We'll see. How about you, man? How's your week? Gonna do some training out here in the valley?
I'm gonna be training a lot.
We gotta get together.
Yeah, we're gonna get
some
together.
Sessions in.
Yep, we'll get some rounds in, without a doubt, before I leave. So I'm gonna be just training a lot. I might try and hit an early bird tomorrow. If not, I know I'll be training tomorrow somewhere. I don't know quite where yet.
Yep.
But
awesome.
I'm training.
Well, let's get together soon out here, and for everyone else,
out.